Every time I have seen a stand-up comedian joke about their race or ethnicity beyond the subject material, the reason for their jokes landing is due to the same experience resonating with so many from the section of society. So whether it is Kenny Sebastian talking about his dramatic Mallu grandmother or Abhishek Upmanyu talking about his experience in Mumbai as a Delhiite, these stories come from a personal experience and the masses, especially from that state, connect with such material. Now, pertaining to the video, a stereotype is a fixed or oversimplified image or idea of a particular type of person or thing. This is a feature we sadly get to see a lot of in Hindi cinema, where stereotypes exist for a reason, of course. But with such a huge audience storming into theaters for your product, there is a responsibility of the impression you are creating for the masses that becomes set in stone. Getting right into some of the most gross generalizations in Hindi cinema, here is Tried&Refused Productions with top 5 worst Bollywood movie stereotypes that will make you cringe. The fat girl. An aspect of films that carried on for several decades was the caricaturist and borderline repulsive depiction of overweight women in Hindi cinema. This feature was something that we brushed off, but was a clear representation of how superficial and insensitive we are to body image standards in the country. There is an eye-opening article written by Sriparna Mazumdar on the Vagabomb website that I would highly recommend you check out regarding this recurring feature in films. Do you remember the actress Tuntun or Uma Devi Khatri, an extremely hilarious and capable singer-turned-actor that appeared in several comical roles for over 3 decades? If you see Tuntun's appearances, you'll see what a natural performer she was. But the sad reality is that most of her gags revolved around her huge appetite or size. In the movie Abru, she is seen getting stuck at a doorway due to her size, and in the film Lucky Number, the only gag that follows her character is her devouring food, much to the annoyance of the supporting characters. If you look at the Rishi Kapoor film Ameeri Gareebi, he plays an auto rickshaw driver who gets a savari. Only for Guddu Maruti, a very prominent actress again who was just used as gags for her size, to appear as the joyful daughter, and as soon as she sits, this happens.
ये रिक्शा 3 आदमियों के बैठने की है, तो 3 ही बैठेंगे।
अबे तुम लोग तो 3 तिया 9 हो, 9 मन की धोबन।
You know, there is a movie called Kuch Tum Kaho Kuch Hum Kahe, and in that film, each time the domestic help of the household appears on screen, this is the soundtrack they utilize. The character barely speaks and mostly ogles at the male character. One of the worst depictions, according to me, however, that sheds light on overweight people as despicable and unwanted is in the movie Dil, where there is a boxing match for a kiss with Madhuri Dixit. Madhuri Dixit sets the stipulation that if Amir loses, he has to kiss Miss Minnie, an overweight girl presented in the most unattractive and grotesque fashion. At each point of the fight, the men see the girl in horror and therefore try their best to win the match, while at the same time the girl salivates at the same thought. The gags are absolutely repulsive. The LGBTQ community. Tell me, what is the first thing you think of when you hear this soundtrack? For Hindi film fans, it has become ingrained in our subconscious so deeply that this soundtrack represents a gay character in Hindi cinema. The LGBTQ community has been depicted in some of the most insensitive and over-the-top manners in Hindi cinema. In the movie Pyar Kiya To Darna Kya, the effeminate character just stands in his fielding position, and the batsmen and umpires are just uncomfortable at his presence. The character flails his arms and hops and skips, and this wasn't seeped in our memory from this film. This was a staple since Anupam Kher's depiction in the 1991 movie Mast Kalandar. Orange mohawk, bright-colored fashion sense, and perpetually horny. This had become the staple as well. If a character from the community was depicted as gay, their sole purpose in the film would be to hit on one of the characters. Where Masti Zade had Suresh Menon playing the role of Sandas, introduced as Jab Dekho Hilate Rehta Hai, in Kya Super Cool Hai Hum, during a paragliding trip, the gay character played by Howard Rosemeyer literally takes advantage of the main character, and all of this is just a gag. Similarly, in the 2017 film Badrinath Ki Dulhania, where he and Badri are presumably surrounded by thugs, and when they corner Badri rather than mugging him, they take advantage of him, copying a feel everywhere, and all of this was a comedic gag, by the way. If they love the same sex, they will take advantage of you. Vah re vah. The Gorkha community. The Gorkhas of the Nepalese community have always fallen prey to caricaturish representations in Hindi cinema. If you watch the 1999 film Hasina Maan Jayegi, yes, the same movie in which Karishma Kapoor wears tennis attire, bounces a football like a basketball in a golf course, yes, that movie, Paresh Rawal plays the role of Bhutnath, who is the guard of the house. Surprise, surprise, right? And literally starts every dialogue in this way.
Sabji, sabji, sabji!
I have previously spoken about this film, but when Anil Kapoor comes with his Nepali son and he tries to pick out outfits, the first thing he does in a clothing store and the lines he utters are this. According to Hindi films, jeans में ये phrase इतना embedded है that the kid roams around the house with a torch as a guard and says this. In the film Apna Sapna Mani Mani, Chunky Pandey plays the role of Rana Jang Bahadur, a man who again in a heavy accent portrays the most caricaturish version of the Gorkha community, as he is surrounded by sidekicks that sport the kukri in every frame. Every time his sidekicks appear, this soundtrack plays. Black people, where everyone is getting cancelled due to blackface on Twitter and insensitivity towards the portrayal of marginalized sections of society, Hindi films have also had the most offensive stereotype regarding the African continent, where iconic songs like Hawa Hawai present background dancers drenched in black paint, yes, Indian dancers drenched in black paint to represent another community. The song Aa Jaane Ja featuring Helen showcases background dancers in blackface, one of which is bound in a cage, lusting to devour the actress dancing. The dancers are represented as savages that shout in agony as they are bound by shackles. The worst of the lot has to be from the movie Had Kar Diya Aapne, and all the best. In the Govinda film, Rani Mukherjee entices Govinda to come to her hotel room, but gives him the wrong room number. As she is giving the instructions, there is a girl in the background that verbatim is dancing and saying, "Ooh shakalaka laka, ooh shakalaka laka." Rani instructs the woman's husband that she is ready, but a man in blackface answers the phone and says he is coming. Govinda finally appears in the room. He is surprised to see the woman next to him, and the husband appears and says, "La wala hoka she." To which Govinda replies in some godforsaken gibberish. It's offensive and absolutely painful to witness. Even if you see the final scene of the Rohit Shetty film All the Best, Bipasha Basu appears with excessive bronzer and cornrows as the Princess of Lushoto. Yes, a town in Tanzania. Sanjay Dutt and Bipasha Basu speak in broken Swahili, and then a gang appears. From Lushoto. Sajid Samji, by the way, the director of Entertainment, is one of them. In blackface, who appears to give threats in broken Swahili. It's a mess that's best left forgotten. Why? Like, why? South Indians. One of the most over-the-top and offensive stereotypes was the generalized version of what a Tamil protagonist represents, with Shah Rukh Khan's portrayal of Shekhar Subramaniam in Ravan. Prashant, a content creator that owns the channel Hit F5, has done a comprehensive analysis of the over-the-top portrayals of South Indians in Hindi cinema. Even though I don't agree with his analysis of Ayya, a deliberate on-the-nose attempt by the creators, the video perfectly captures the generalized assumption of what all the 5 states represent. You know, when you see Shah Rukh Khan showcasing a layered and nuanced role like Rizwan Khan in My Name is Khan, a movie that effectively sheds light on the basic human struggle of Muslims to prove themselves as upright, noble and responsible citizens of the nation, you would think that Shah Rukh would represent the South Indian states with the same sensitivity. I posted on Twitter wanting to understand, was it just me as a North Indian who felt this character portrayal was unnecessary? If a section of India can't be represented authentically, then why even do it? Especially when it's the biggest movie in the Hindi film industry. Setting the precedent for the masses to assume that this is what the states represent. A man who shouts ayyo and ayyayo at every opportunity, in every frame, and soaks his noodles in curd, and corrects his wife's Tamil by saying that it's not condom, it's kunjum. I understand that the representation has a lot to do with the awful writing, but it was just sad to see Shah Rukh with so much influence to represent a Tamil protagonist with such inauthenticity in the biggest Hindi film of that time to the entire world. And that was the video, guys. Write down in the comments below whether you have some video ideas for our channel. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The handle's right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.